Hello and welcome to Fairly Exciting Sports. I'm your host here today, Charles Wedge, on the 22nd annual How Not to Be Eaten by a Tiger Championships. Now I'm joined here today by legend of the sport, Mr. Jetty Beauford. Now Jetty, it looks like we've got some nice weather for the sport.
Oh, we sure do, Charles. It's sunny but it's slightly overcast. Ideal conditions not to be eaten by a tiger.
Yeah, indeed. Now for those people at home who are uninformed about the sport, what are they going to see today? What does the sport entail, mind the pun?
Sure. Well, at the start of every game, each individual player is weighed. Then at the end of the hour, they are weighed once again. They are ranked by the amount of difference that is inside of the tiger.
Okay. Any other rules?
Not really, that is why it's the ultimate free-form game.
Okay. What types of tigers are we going to see out there today?
Well, when the games first started in the 1930s, we used to use regulation-sized tigers. But due to difficulties in obtaining the animal, we just happened to rely on whatever tigers are in the area.
Okay, how's that affected the sport?
Well, there are a lot of ties.
Indeed. Okay, we'll go now to some highlights from last year's tournament. So Jetty, what's going on here?
Well, this is Calvin Broderick performing the technique known as the hypnotic motion. This chaotic undulation creates confusion in the mind of any potential tiger, and it will look for another prey.
And how effective is that as a technique?
Well, so far no one trying this technique has been eaten by a tiger, so it seems to be fairly effective. Although, Simon Gomes in the 98 championship was pecked by an ostrich, so it's not without its risks.
Right, now who's this?
Well, this is Belinda Hofstetter, who was a wildcard entrant to the tournament.
And what's with the balloons and feathers?
Well, the idea here is by lifting herself off of the ground, that she'll be out of reach of any tigers that might be in the area.
And did it work?
Well, she did get off the ground. Unfortunately, she strayed into the path of a 737 taken off from Adelaide Airport.
God, that must have hurt.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it was with Tiger Airlines too.
Now what's he doing? He seems to be strapping meat to his body and adding sauce. Surely that's counterproductive.
Not at all, Charles. You see, that's last year's champion, Aaron Advarkinson. Now, he's using reverse psychology. He realises that the tiger is going to wonder, is this a trap? And then leave him alone. Now, it's a bold move on his behalf, but that's what the battle is about. Getting into the mind of your opponent, and this performance was enough to have him 100% not eaten at the end of the match.
And I understand that the rest of the players got the same score.
Yes, but Aaron won on the tournament on tiebreak.
And what was the tiebreak?
Alphabetical order.
And we're joined now by Mr. Aaron Advarkinson, 5-time winner of the Not Being Eaten by a Tiger Championships. Now, Aaron, what tricks are we going to be seeing today?
Yeah, well, I don't want to give away anything yet, but rest assured, it will be enough to take out championship number 6! Yeah!
Oh, wow.
Yeah!
Feeling very confident today.
Of course.
But the games are actually under criticism, saying that the spectators are just as uneaten as the players. So, where's the skill?
Yeah, I've been asked that a few times, but let me ask you a question. If a tiger were charging at you right now, what song would you sing?
What song would I sing? YMCA Village People?
No. Jetty, I believe you know, mate.
Karma Chameleon by Culture Club.
That's right, you want something soothing to be able to blend in. Unless you do the research, you don't know these things. For you see, it's not just the real tigers who have to not be eaten by, but the hypothetical ones too. Anyway, I've got to prepare for my championship, so lads, I'll chat to you later.
A very confident Aaron Advarkinson there. Look at him skip away. But speaking of spectators though, Jetty, I've been having a look around and there don't seem to be many.
Well, Charles, look, if you were to interview random people on the street and ask them if they didn't want to be eaten by tigers, chances are 9 out of 10 are going to say yes. Mm-hmm. But we as a sport have failed to capitalise on the interest in turning the grassroots support into support for our amateurs and our professionals. I blame this on lack of government support.
Okay, thank you for that, Jetty. But it seems like the games have just started, so let's get ringside and check the action out. Now this guy looks as though he's just reading a book out loud.
Yeah, that's Dougie Noodlebinder. He's reading Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, which is possibly the world's most boring book. We have the sound down now because otherwise you would start drifting into unconsciousness as any potential tiger would.
Well, how can he read it without falling asleep?
Firstly, Dougie is a trained accountant, so relatively immune to boredom. Secondly, he tries to forget each word before saying the next. The border only works when the words are understood together. Although, as we can see, it doesn't always work.
Okay, now let's cut to the competitor in Arena 7.
Now this is an up-and-comer in the sport, Nathan Baramaja, who started professionally just last year. Now he's gone with an interesting approach, which is to appeal to the Tigers' generosity.
And the sign is bilingual too. It looks like he's covered all the bases.
And as a professional, it is good to see that the sign has the correct grammar. Because if it didn't, it would throw any tiger into a frenzy and he would eat you, sign or no sign. One thing he doesn't seem to have considered though, is what if the tiger is behind him? Oh! It looks like Nathan just realised. Good save. Now that is a man who will go far.
Now we show the reigning world champion, Aaron Advarkinson. He's promised us something special.
I don't see anything yet, but... Oh my God! He's pretending to be a lamp! This must be the greatest moment in the history of sports!
And now he's completely motionless, just like a lamp.
Oh my gosh, that's just crazy enough to work. Obviously, Aaron has been doing his research because there was a paper put out last week that suggested that tigers tend to not eat office furnishings.
There were claims to the authors of the paper fake the results, but Aaron obviously has enough confidence to risk the championship on it.
I may be speaking too early, but I think if he can keep this up, we are looking at championship number 6 for Aaron Advarkinson.
Well, we'll have to leave you for a quick break and we'll be back shortly after these messages.
The following is an important announcement from wearenotconartists.com.
When you think of assaulting someone with the foodstuff, think Wonder Egg.
Welcome back to Fairly Exciting Sports.
Charles, 60 minutes of ads, that's got to be some kind of a record.
You know, they don't call it commercial TV for nothing, but the 22nd annual Not Being Eaten by a Tiger Championships are over. Jet, what happened?
Well, despite a promising start, Aaron Advarkinson has lost his title. He's here to discuss it with us now. Aaron, you must be absolutely gutted. Tell us what went wrong.
Well, Jet, everything went according to plan until the tiger ate my arm.
Yeah, but Aaron, mate, I mean, you must be at least slightly relieved that that same tiger completely ate most of your competitors.
Yes, generally this score would give me last place, but due to the difficult conditions, it was enough to, give me third place.
Now, Aaron, there's people out there that are saying you're too old to be not beaten by tigers anymore. After today's match, do you think they're right?
Jet, I was slightly eaten by a tiger today and I didn't like it one bit. I believe that this will give me drive to perform better in the future. And now with my arm gone, there's less of me that can be eaten. I think they'll give me an edge to win again next year. Ha ha!
Confident
Okay,
again.
yeah, confident Mr. Aaron Advarkinson. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Yep. Looks like next year we'll be promising unarmed combat. Now, the winner of today's event, some might say a bit of a dark horse, was 24-year-old Haiku Tamagotchi, who we're fortunate enough to have with us right now. Come here, Haiku. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Charles.
So just tell us about the techniques that helped you win today.
Well, my strategy for today was I saw the tiger, then I ran.
Now, Haku, that's the sort of technique we see only amateurs use when they're first starting off in the competition. Tell us, how did you make it work for yourself?
Well, Jetty, there are 2 points to note about my technique. The first is direction. What you gotta do is, you gotta run away from the tiger. You see, if you run towards the tiger, you get closer to it, making it so much more easier for it to eat you. Second point to note is speed. You gotta run faster than the tiger.
That is true. But not to take anything away from your achievements, this all assumes you had a tiger to run from today.
I was very lucky to have one today.
Yes, yeah, you were.
You sure were, Haiku. Congratulations again, mate.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from us here today at the Fairly Exciting Sports team. I'm Charles Wedge, joined here by Jetty Beaufort. We'll leave you today with some footage of Haiku Tamagotchi's championship win. Thanks.